Happy Easter, chicka-rocka, chicka-boom.
Happy Easter, chicka-rocka, chicka-boom.
Hello, ladies and germs. Welcome to the Jon Favreau Super Review. I'm your host, Ray William Johnson 2. In case you haven't noticed, this is the new show on my channel, and it's kind of like a movie review, and if you haven't heard of that,
You don't have.
except it's a super review, which means I'm reviewing reviews of the movie. But since it's the Jon Favreau Super Review, I'm only doing Jon Favreau movies because I don't have time to do every movie. So I think I heard that there's a new Avengers movie coming out soon. So I thought it would be an appropriate time to do Iron Man, the Jon Favreau movie. I really like the opening to the movie. It's really fun. It's dark and gritty, unlike most of the things in Marvel until recently. At some points, the CGI is a bit dated, but it was 2008, and it was good for its time, especially compared to, like, something like... 2/3 of the way through the movie, it kind of loses steam. It's just, it gets boring eventually, and then it just turns into a let's fight Jeff Bridges. The whole Jeff Bridges villain thing feels kind of forced and rushed and unnecessary at times, but he plays it well, and that's all that matters. And everyone in this movie plays their part very well, especially Robert Downey Jr. Overall, my short review is it's a fun, well-written, acted movie that you should see if you like movies. But let's get into the meat of it, where I pick apart other people's reviews and tell you why their opinions are right or wrong. Now, all these reviews are from Rotten Tomatoes, but they're not like the actual critic reviews. They're like audience user reviews, people who think that they're movie critics. So it has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, like the normal score, and then for the audience score it has a 91%. So that's pretty good. So we'll be looking at some audience ones. The first one up is from Joseph V. Joseph V gives it 5 stars and says Robert Downey Jr. and Jon Favreau are Iron Man. Yeah, I agree with that. Robert Downey Jr. is definitely Iron Man, because he says it in the movie. Jon Favreau, I don't know if he is Iron Man. He's Happy Hogan, and he's also the director. But I think I understand what he's saying. Jon Favreau does a great job directing the character of Iron Man and creating it, even though he didn't actually write the movie. He still does a good job showing him off. Next up, this person does not have a name, but it's just a picture of a truck. They give it 5 stars and said, the wonderful principle of a historical time in the cinema. The wonderful principle of a historical time in the cinema. What I think Mr. or Mrs. Truck is saying here is that this feels like an old-fashioned movie. Maybe it does, because it's like good and evil. I don't know. Next up, we have Corey S. Oh boy, this is a long one. 4 stars. While getting myself ready for Avengers Infinity War, I started rewatching all of the other Marvel movies, with Iron Man being the first. As a fan of the Marvel movies, not all of them, we wouldn't be here today still watching these movies if Iron Man 1 wasn't a good movie. Robert Downey Jr. was the right guy at the right time to play this role. In fact, the whole cast made this movie good. The look of the film was good, and the CGI did help a lot, making it look that good. The story was excellent, to say the least. I believe the only minor setback, some of the actual dialogue was kind of weak. Other than that, Iron Man was a really good comic book movie. Yeah, good job, Corey S. I probably agree with you the most out of all of these people. Yeah, it's kind of humbling to go back and watch this next to Infinity War, because in Infinity War, especially at the beginning, it seems like Tony Stark can just do whatever he wants because of nanotechnology. And in this movie, he really shows how difficult it can be to be a rich guy. Next up, we got Toby J. Toby. 3 stars. Bit of a nothing film building up to Iron Man 2. Watchable, though. What do you mean, Toby? What does this mean? Building up to Iron Man 2. I guess you could say it's his origin story that's building up to, like, the rest of his character. Yeah, it's an origin story, Toby. Duh. You gave it 3 stars, though, even though we called it a nothing film. I don't think it's a nothing film. He changes as a character. He changes as a person. Also, it's much more than watchable. It is watchable, but it's very watchable, and it's enjoyable. And I think instead of building up to Iron Man 2, you could make a better case if you said it's building up to the Avengers. Next, Raphael M. What do you have to say? 4.5 stars. You just gotta love a good story with someone that embodies character so well. Amen. I don't think they could have done a better job casting the role of Tony Stark. Unless it was like Nicolas Cage. Let's see what Tammy D has to say. She gives it 4.5 stars and says, but will probably be duped into seeing it by my 9-year-old son. But will probably be duped into seeing it by my 9-year-old son. Okay, first of all, Tammy, that's a sentence fragment. That's not a sentence. That's like the second half of a sentence right there. What is this, Tammy? I would agree that probably quite a few 9-year-old boys would enjoy seeing this movie. It is it's pretty good. And 9-year-old boys have a very good taste in movies. Also, why are you posting a review if you haven't seen it yet, Tammy? If you think you're going to be duped into seeing it by your 9-year-old son. Also, using the word duped gives it a negative connotation, and you gave it 4.5 stars. So did you write this out before you saw the movie and then just post it on Rotten Tomatoes and give it 4.5 stars after you saw it? What's going on here, Tammy? Ken Bone gives it 2 stars and says, it is so bad I hate it. My kids got so scared. Yeah, right, Ken. Your kids are the ones who got scared. It is a scary movie. It's probably not that good for kids. Probably quite a few 9-year-old boys would enjoy seeing this movie. Especially at the beginning. It's very dark. The second half of the movie is probably a bit better, because it's more like a normal action movie at that point. Even though it's a worse movie overall later on, it's definitely going to be better for kids than the beginning. Especially all like the heart stuff that happens with pulling his thing out of his chest. The thing, you know? That's not good for kids. I don't even like watching that part because it's gross. Finally, we have Edgar F., who gives it 5 stars and says, best Iron Man movie yet. I agree, Edgar. This is much better than the 1931 movie Iron Man, starring Lou Ayres as a boxer and Jean Harlow as his wife, who send his manager, Robert Armstrong, packing. According to Nuvi. I've never heard of that movie before.
Don't be a sucker. Listen, you can make more money from this one fight than you can make from 14. You know, all other fighters do it. What's the matter with you? Come on, pull yourself together. Come on, kid, give us an okay, yes? Wait a minute, kid.
And, of course, 20 years later, we have the 1951 Iron Man, starring Jeff Chandler as a coal miner who becomes a boxer. So yeah, this is the first Iron Man movie I know about that doesn't include boxing, and it's also the most realistic to the comics. Uh, yeah, I don't think any of the other Iron Man movies really fit into the MCU as well. Well, that's all the time I want to spend recording today, so I give Iron Man a 5 out of 7 pigeons. Make sure you click all the buttons, and one last thing, I am Iron Man.